In this video, you're going to learn how to multiply decimals. So something you already know how to do is to multiply fractions. So I'm going to show you how it's the same thing. So let's look at 3/10 times 6/10. So if I convert this to a fraction, I know it says 3/10 and I know this says 6/10, and I can multiply those easily. 3 times 6 is 18, and then 10 times 10 is 100ths. So I know that this has to say the same thing, only in decimal. So when I look at it, all I'm going to do is multiply the numbers I see. So I'm actually going to ignore those decimals, and I'm going to think of 3 times 6 is 18, just like we did here. And now I have to figure out where the decimals place goes. So I know this is hundredths, so I have to make sure my 18 ends in the hundredths, so my decimal goes there. Here's the trick. I have tenths, so this has to be hundredths. Or I could say it as I have one digit after the decimal and another digit after the decimal, so I should have 2 digits after the decimal here. So let's try another one. If I am multiplying 2/10 times 4/10, I could think of it as a fraction, 2/10 times 4/10. And doing the fraction, I know 2 times 4 is 8, and 10 times 10 is 100. So now up here, if I ignore the decimals and I do 2 times 4, just like I did here, I'll get 8. And I need to think about where the decimal goes. So I know it's hundredths, or I can just use my trick of one digit after the decimal, another digit after the decimal, so I have 2, which means I need to have 2 after the decimal, so I need to put a 0 there. So where I'm seeing the trickiness come is when it's not just by tenths. So let's look at an example like that. So let's do 4 hundredths times 3/10. If I convert this to a fraction, this would be 4 hundredths because this ends in the hundredths place, and this one would be 3/10. So to multiply it, I would do 4 times 3 is 12. 100 times 10, or 110 times, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. So I know this answer has to be 12 thousandths as well. To do that, I just look here and I go, well, I'm just going to multiply 4 times 3 because I'm going to ignore all those decimals, and I get 12. And now I think about the decimal. So I count my digits that are already after the decimal. 1, 2, 3. So over here I should have 1, 2, 3. All right, I want you to try this problem. Go ahead and pause the video and try and multiply that on your own by putting the decimal in the correct spot. All right, so if you're still watching this video, that means that you have already answered this. So to do it, I'm going to multiply 5 times 7 by ignoring those decimals, and I get 35. And then I have to think about where my decimal goes, and I see 1, 2, 3. So I should have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put my placeholder. All right, this next problem is going to be your ticket to me. So I want you to try this problem on a whiteboard or a sheet of paper, and you'll turn it in to me.